Really, Ellie? Hello, hello. What's up? Long time no see, set. Really, Ellie? I literally just went live. We're zero stalling today because we're only reading for 1 hour. We're already doing our intro. So if you like what you're going to see, make sure you like, comment, subscribe as I awkwardly pause this video and let my dog out. So if you guys are excited to witness greatness in these next 4 chapters, feel free to like the video, share the video. Chapter 1313. Ooh, that's a good number. It's called the third. Oh, her third wish. Jasmine was excited, but she was still worried. All right. Oh snap! I forgot to do my All right, here we go. Chapter 1313 is called the third wish. Jasmine was excited, but she was still worried. What kind of price has to be paid? From her point of view, a prior free attempt didn't mean that the subsequent wishes were without a price. Klein adjusted his tall hat and smiled. The penny you paid is the price. The corresponding change that you have to bear after achieving your wish is also the price. Jasmine nodded without completely understanding him. Without any hesitation, she reached into her pocket and attempted to take out a few copper pennies for her wish. However, her pocket was empty except for a handkerchief. Having stayed home all this while, she hadn't had any contact with money. She had relied on walking to go from home to Municipal Square instead of taking a trackless public carriage. Can I go home first? Jasmine asked, both vexed and embarrassed. Of course, this is your freedom, but I can't guarantee that the fully automatic wishing machine will always be waiting for you here. Klein said with the tone of a magician. Sometimes it's very willful. Jasmine tearfully answered, thanked him, and turned around, jogging in the opposite direction of the Municipal Square. The more she ran, the more relaxed her body became. She found herself in her formerly healthy state, but she was burnt, transformed back into a teenage girl into her prime. To her, this was a scene that was only appeared in a dream. Of course, as an ordinary person, she gradually felt exhausted after running for a while. She had no choice but to slow down and began walking slowly. To cool, the night breeze blow. Wow, I can't read. Revealing resplendent stars peeking through the clouds high up in the sky. The trees by the side of the street swayed gently and scattered the swaying shadows on the ground. All of this was so quiet and beautiful. Jasmine only felt her body and mind relax, and all her worries disappeared. This was the first time she was in such a good mood ever since she was injured. Unknowingly, a smile appeared on her face. After walking for about 5 minutes, she suddenly heard someone shout her name. Jasmine. Jasmine turned her head and saw a familiar face. It was her former neighbor, Miss Hamill. Good evening, Miss Hamill. I haven't seen you in a long time. Are you going to the carnival? Jasmine, who wasn't wearing a scarf, said with a heartfelt smile. Miss Hamill was a woman with a head of white hair. She carefully said to Jasmine, I haven't seen you since you moved away. I heard that you were injured in the previous blast. Oh. Yes, but I recovered. Jasmine nodded heavily. She then asked, how is Jolie now? Jolie was Miss Hamill's eldest daughter and was her former playmate. Oh, she's probably dead. Miss Hamill's expression instantly wore a shade of gloom. The Phasacians did unspeakable things to her, and she ended up dying. Jasmine was taken aback, thinking back to her experience while feeling sad. A Phasacian soldier had rushed into her house in an attempt to do unspeakable things to her, but he only gave her a kick and left when he saw her disfigured face. Poor Jolie. Jasmine sincerely tapped her chest 4 times in a clockwise fashion, outlining the stars. It was only after she heard what happened to her friends that she realized that she might have been relatively lucky. After bidding farewell to Miss Hamill, Jasmine walked back to her apartment. When she got home, she felt much better and her mood was back to normal. She started to look forward to the expression her parents would have when they saw her appearance restored. They probably wouldn't have kept the pain deep in their hearts and pretended that nothing had happened. They would definitely cry with joy and hug me. Jasmine took the hat was hanging around her neck like a necklace, and she thought about it. She opened the door. The room was dark, and none of the candles of the gas lamp walls were lit up. Oh, you're never gonna sleep early? I apologize, guys. On the bed outside, the light and heavy snoring could be heard from her parents, forming a contrast with the bustling municipal square. They're asleep. Yes, they've been working hard. Jasmine gently closed the doors and walked to her parents' bed. With the crimson moonlight shining in through the window, she cast her gaze over. Daddy has a lot of white hair, and his wrinkles have deepened. Mommy keeps frowning when she sleeps. Her face is flaking. It's dry and coarse. Only then did Jasmine realize that she hadn't seriously looked at her parents' faces for a long time. She didn't know that they had aged so much. Damn. That's the one thing you cannot run, bro. Time. Before the war, her father was an accountant with a pretty good income. They could afford to rent a terrace house and allow his wife to not work so as to focus on taking care of the family. But now he could only work at textile factories and do all kinds of strenuous labors. Jasmine's mother had no choice but to leave her family and become a textile worker. Daddy's health is getting worse and worse. He's always coughing, but he had passed the recent civil servant unified examination. When the interview results are announced, he will have a decent job. Mommy keeps complaining that her arm is getting worse. Jasmine looked at her parents intently and didn't wake them up. She had already, I already know what's her wish. She had already thought of her second wish. Softening her footsteps, Jasmine entered the room inside and poured out the last few pennies from her piggy bank she had previously almost emptied. Then she left the apartment and boarded a trackless public carriage. She was afraid of the fully automatic wishing machine would be gone if she delayed any further. At that moment, there was a lot of passengers on public carriages. Most of them were heading to participate in the carnival. Jasmine looked around and saw that there were no seats. She had no choice but to support herself as she stood on the aisle, squeezing with plenty of people. 10 minutes later, she reached her stop and turned into that street. When the brass-colored machine embedded with a few pieces of glass appeared before her eyes, Jasmine silently heaved a sigh of relief and quickly approached it. During this process, she surveyed her surroundings and didn't find any magician by the name of Merlin Hermes. It really is fully automatic. There's no need for him to be by my side, Jasmine muttered in puzzlement. She didn't waste any time. She took out a penny and placed it inside the fully automatic wishing machine. I wish for my parents to be healthy again. I hope that my family will become rich. Jasmine softly voiced her wish. She closed her eyes and waited for the miracle to happen. At the next second, she heard the clanking sound as though a coin had rolled out from the fully automatic wishing machine. Jasmine opened her eyes in shock and looked ahead, only to see that the penny she had just put into the machine had landed on a small tray around the coin slot. This wish cannot be fulfilled. A wish can contain too much content. My wish was actually 2 wishes. With the experience of being cured of her burns, Jasmine didn't suspect that there was something wrong with the fully automatic wishing machine. She thought seriously and stuffed the penny into the coin slot. Then she lowered her head and made a wish softly. I hope my parents are healthy again. This time, she heard a soft knock sound from the fully automatic wishing machine. Tack. I'm sorry, is Klein actually inside of the wishing machine? And that's why he hears the... I'm sorry, is that what the artwork was? He's actually chilling inside. Seeing that the copper coin remained inside of the machine, Jasmine knew her wish had been fulfilled. She couldn't wait to go home and check on her parents' situation. Suppressing her excitement, she inserted another penny. She had originally planned on making her family wealthy, but remembering that her father was basically going to become a civil servant in Lemon City and that her family income was guaranteed, she couldn't help but have other thoughts about it. When she was 10 years old, she already knew that she wasn't good looking. It wasn't that people around her would despise her and say that she wasn't good looking, but amongst her playmates, there were 2 rather beautiful girls. This allowed them to be accorded with greater treatment and experience the kindness of the world. Such a comparison only served to make Jasmine inevitably dream of becoming prettier as she grew older. But reality proved that dreams could only be dreams. However, this time her dream could turn into reality because she had a miraculous, fully automatic wishing machine in front of her. It's true, man. It'd be like that, man, in the real world. Sometimes it's just like if you got good looks, you make it in life. It's crazy how that works. If I can make myself beautiful, I can find a good husband, and I can improve my family situation. Jasmine seemed to have heard of the devil whispering in her ear. She closed her eyes uncontrollably and made a wish. I wish, as I raised the volume, I wish to become extremely, extremely, extremely beautiful. She used extremely thrice to accentuate the beauty she wanted. Just as she finished speaking, the door to the fully automatic wishing machine opened once again. A silver-white mask was pushed out and covered her face. Jasmine quickly opened her eyes and happened to see the mask disappear. At the same time, she felt something connect to her. She turned around in anticipation and once again walked to the shop by the side of the street. Using the light from the gas lamps and the glass on the window, she saw her current appearance. For a moment, Jasmine couldn't describe the exact changes in her facial feature and outline. All she knew was that at this moment, even she was mesmerized by her beauty. Her nose had become sharper and her lips became fuller. Her eyes became bigger and limped. Her skin was as tender as milk pudding. She only had slight similarities to her previous self. Is this a miracle? Jasmine couldn't help but let out a heartfelt sigh of amazement. She looked at herself intoxicated. It took her great effort to finally retract her gaze before bowing at the fully automatic wishing machine. Following that, she walked towards a public carriage stop. On the way there, eyes kept turning to look at her. Bang. A man who was too focused on her slammed into the gas lamp post. He was distracted. Jasmine pursed her lips into a smile. Without a word, she boarded the trackless public carriage. There were so many people on board, and all the seats were taken. Just as Jasmine was trying her best to find a spot, several men lifted their buttocks and straightened their bodies. They looked at her and smiled. "Miss, you can sit here." Jasmine was momentarily stunned. She hadn't experienced to receive so much kindness. She didn't decline and sat down. She smiled at the man who had given up her seat. "Thank you." The man's expression became extremely animated and said humbly, "This is what a gentleman should do." Jasmine still retained the habits from when she had previously coped up at home, so she didn't say anything else. She quietly sat there until she reached a stop near her apartment. Then she got off the carriage. After a few steps, she suddenly felt that there was someone looking at her. She quickly turned her head to look. It was a drunkard. He was staring at Jasmine with an indescribably disgusting look. Jasmine jumped in front and briskly walked to her apartment. However, the man she met along the way revealed similar looks, as though they could turn into beasts at any moment. At that moment, Jasmine felt as though she was walking into the wilderness. Oh, this is dangerous now. What the fuck? Okay. Next chapter, 13-14. Oh, man, I hope that doesn't like end up biting her, you know? Like, I hope everything's a-okay with her, because that sounds kind of fucking scary, dude. All right, chapter 1314 is called Miracles Are Only for a Moment. Previously, Jasmine enjoyed the gazes from men, but now all that was left was anxiety and horror. She hastened her footsteps again as though she was being chased by the Phasacians. Finally, before the man could get closer to her, she rushed into the apartment and got rid of them. Phew. The girl patted her chest and secretly decided to stay out less at night. Only then did she realize that the extraordinary birdie had its disadvantages. After calming down, Jasmine went up the dimly lit stairs to the 3rd floor and returned home. She used the key she had carried with her to open the door. She carefully approached her parents' bed and used the moonlight to examine their faces. Compared to when she left the house not too long ago, her parents' faces were rather ruddy. Their white hair and wrinkles had lessened significantly, and their snoring was almost non-existent. Their health has really been restored. Jasmine couldn't help but smile, clearly relieved, sensing the commotion. Her mother's eyelids twitched as she slowly opened her eyes. Jasmine held her breath and restrained her smile, preparing to give her mother surprise. Her mother sat up and looked over. Her expression suddenly became extremely terrified. "Who are you?" asked the woman. "Oh, no. Who are you?" asked the woman with a shrill voice as she shoved her husband forcefully. "Who am I?" Jasmine was stunned by the question and didn't know how to answer the simple question. At that moment, her father woke up as well. He looked at the beautiful girl in front of him with suspicion and vigilance. "Get out, otherwise I'll call the police." Jasmine's mother left the bed and picked up a candle stand beside her, using it as a weapon. "We don't welcome burglars." Jasmine's father rather politely issued an order for Jasmine to leave. He knew that he had to do his best not to pressure the burglar, otherwise it'll easily lead to extreme responses from the other party. If not for his wife and daughter, he wasn't too afraid of fighting the burglar, but now his entire family was at stake. Jasmine finally snapped out of her daze and hurriedly said, "Daddy, Mommy, I am." Before she could finish her sentence, her mother started to shove her repeatedly as she was pushing out of the room by her father. Oh, this is so bad. No one cared about what she said. Under such circumstances, no one cared. Thud. The door to her apartment closed before her eyes. It left her feeling lost and helpless. She wanted to knock on the door and use her key she carried with her to prove her identity. By that moment, she heard her mother shout at a patrolling officer downstairs, "There's a burglar, burglar, Daddy and Mommy don't recognize me anymore. Will they think I've murdered myself? Will the police believe the fully automatic wishing machine?" Jasmine's heart tightened, and she subconsciously decided to leave the apartment first to avoid police. She would then find her father and mother to explain to them carefully at dawn and use her common memories to convince them. Tap, tap, tap. She bowed her head and, under the watchful gazes of her neighbors, walked down the stairs and rushed out of the building. She ran all the way to a nearby alley and avoided approaching the police officer from the main street. Gasping for air, Jasmine stopped in her tracks. Tears uncontrollably rolled down her face and fell to the ground. Suddenly, a hand reached over and covered her mouth, dragging her to a secluded corner of the alley. "How much?" "I'll pay however much it costs." A voice filled with drunkenness rang in Jasmine's ears. It was as if it had mistaken her for a prostitute and could no longer resist her alert. I'm sorry, what the fuck am I reading? Holy shit, this is getting so bad. Jasmine tried her best to struggle, alarmed, afraid, and desperate. Just as she was about to break down, the drunkard released his hand. "Miss, are you alright?" A hoarse male voice sounded. Jasmine dashed away from the drunkard before turning around to see a police officer in a black and white checkered uniform. As Jasmine smoked, she began to cry. The policeman looked at her sympathetically and said, "We will take legal action on him. However, miss, you'll need to return to the police station with me to record your statement." Jasmine was in a state of extreme panic and extreme helplessness. She subconsciously nodded. Long after, she sat in the police station testimony room nearby. Facing her was the same police officer and his colleague. The policeman deliberated over his words and asked, "So you're telling me he didn't ask you if you were a prostitute and you didn't do anything that might come off as soliciting customers?" He was worried that his words would hurt the beautiful girl in front of him. Jasmine held a coffee cup and lowered her head to take a sip. "Yes, I just reached the alley. All right, let's end it here. Miss Jasmine, can you tell me where your house is? We'll get someone to send you back." Another policeman tried to get her in good books. Recalling her parents' reaction and discussing gazes, Jasmine couldn't help but shudder. She said in tears, "I had a quarrel with my parents and can't return home for the time being. Perhaps you can take me to the nearest hotel." At this point, she remembered that she was on the left with a few pence. There was no way that she could stay in a good hotel, and the cheap motels were practically dangerous to her. The first policeman was taken aback. "Okay." On the way to the nearest hotel, the policeman hesitated several times before finally saying, If I mean you plan on becoming a street girl, you can come to me. There's no need for you to go through that much effort." Upon hearing this, Jasmine felt on the brink of mental collapse. It was just different from when she first saw her face after that fire. This made her feel extremely insecure, and she remained silent. Fortunately, the police officer didn't force her and sent her to the entrance of the nearest hotel. "There's no need to go in with me. I'll go by myself." Jasmine rejected the policeman's suggestion of sending her to her room. After the police officer left, she quickly walked out of the hotel without completing the check-in procedure. She wanted to go to Municipal Square, to a place where the fully automatic wishing machine was, to cancel her previous wish. Oh, she's gonna undo it. Such beauty was terrifying. After taking a few steps, Jasmine removed the scarf around her shoulders and wrapped it around her face in layers, just like how she left home from that very night. Back then, there were still burn scars on her face. Her missing nose and damaged lips made her look like a devil. When she arrived in Municipal Square on the trackless carriage, she entered the street once again and saw the brass fully automatic wishing machine. Jasmine's heart immediately calmed down. She quickened her pace and arrived in front of the machine. I'm sorry, she already made 3 machines though. Then she was at a loss. She didn't know how to cancel her last wish. Your first wish was a free trial. Oh, and it was encountered. Oh, so she's technically only done 2. Your first wish was a free trial, and it was encountered in 3 wishes, so you have 1 more wish. Jasmine suddenly heard Mr. Merlin Hermes' voice. She turned her head and saw that across the street, under the dim yellow light of the street lamp, the magician wearing a tall hat was looking calmly at her. Good, good. Jasmine hurriedly took out a copper penny and inserted it into the fully automatic wishing machine. I hope my previous wish is cancelled, she said with her eyes closed as she gripped the wrench and spun it. Tack. She heard the dull thud once again. When she opened her eyes, she rushed to a nearby shop. She stopped in front of the glass window and removed the scarf wrapped around her face. She saw herself again. She was no longer a pretty girl. Damn, man, that's crazy. Jasmine instantly relaxed and instinctively turned her head back to look at the fully automatic wishing machine, but found that it had disappeared along with Mr. Merlin Hermes. Praise the lady. Thank you, Mr. Hermes. Jasmine sincerely tapped her chest 4 times in a clockwise manner. She used her last copper penny to head home in a trackless public carriage. Along the way, no one gave up their seats to her. When her figure vanished before her from the street, Klein appeared again, holding a silver mirror with ancient patterns. Great master, why didn't you add the line, and the excessive greed will only turn someone good into something bad, or wishes always have a price. This would make the whole matter seem even more philosophical. It will be elevated into a fable. On the surface of the mirror, silver words appeared. Oh yeah, why would he leave that part out? Klein smiled and said, the biggest problem was that I couldn't use normal methods to satisfy her extremely beautiful wish. Lie can only adjust her looks to a certain extent, therefore I had no choice but to use one of the effects of a sealed artifact that originated from a demoness to graft it onto her. That resulted in her stunning beauty and terrifying charm. This made the surrounding men unable to resist her. The sealed artifact belonged to Shio, a relic of a demoness Shireen. Oh, shit. Damn, that's crazy. Due to a problem with Shio's storage abilities... Yeah, no, we're only knocking out... No one's talking behind your back. We're only knocking out 4 chapters before bedtime. That way we announce the next big stream, because I think that one's going to be like 10 plus chapters, if I remember Love's breakdown. Due to a problem with Shio's storage abilities, she remains beyond her characteristics fused with the box containing it, becoming a sealed artifact with shockingly negative effects. This caused Shio's younger brother to look at the box strangely. In order to resolve this problem, Shio made a wish for Mr. Full to seal the item from her. After saying that casually, Klein looked at the magic mirror. Rhodes, are you consoling me? Ain't no way. No, the main problem was that she's too greedy. If she only wanted to become beautiful and didn't add so many extremities to the wish, then the result would have been pretty good. On the surface of the mirror, silver words quickly appeared. Indeed, that will within the extent that can achieve by lie, Klein nodded and said to Rhodes, lie's adjustments can indeed be permanent, but it's a structure that it's ultimately different from the original muscle, skin, and bone structures. After more than a decade, when she's gradually showing signs of age, the adjustments and the differences will slowly magnify, making her face appear rather strange and stiff. That can only be fixed periodically by becoming a faceless. Having said that, Klein smiled and shook his head. A lie is ultimately a lie. All right, next big stream is 1327. Yeah, no, so from 20 to 27? No, from 16 to 27. Yeah, so that is 11 chapters. It's true, oh my bad. It's true that beauty allows her to obtain a lot of resources and allow her to marry a prince. However, her personal upbringing, character, and knowledge are unlikely to support such a lifestyle. Yes, I can't rule out the possibility that she's good at studying, being capable of using all kinds of experiences to fully enrich herself, and ultimately direct herself to possibly having a good life. However, that's a whole other story. Miracles are only for a moment, but fate is often a long-lasting event. In the conversation with Rhodes, Klein gradually vanished from the end of the street. His understanding of Miracle Invoker had deepened again. After returning to her family apartment, Jasmine didn't attempt to open the door. She used a lot of courage to knock on the door. The door opened and her mother appeared in front of her. Oh, you're back? Oh, shit. Oh, you're finally back. Look at that. It's like we foresaw what she was going to say. Oh, you're finally back. Her mother first heaved a sigh of relief, then asked in an abnormally horrified manner, your face. Jasmine forced a smile and said, I've been cured by a mister who's good at creating miracles. Mr. Fully Automatic Wishing Machine. Just as her parents suspected that her daughter had been influenced by demons, a few policemen in black and white checkered uniforms walked up the stairs and came over. Leading the policeman was a lady. She had light blue eyes and a smile that quietened others. Miss Jasmine, we have some questions for you, the lady said politely. What the fuck is gonna happen now? I'm sorry, what? Summer report. Jasmine. What's gonna happen? Chapter 1315 is called Summary Report. Jasmine felt that she should have been afraid, but she found it difficult to have much strong emotions facing the female police officer in front of her. She felt like her body and mind had unknowingly settled down after crying for a long time. She looked at her parents, who had a complicated expression, and asked hesitantly, "Okay, what questions do you have?" The female policeman with the rank of superintendent pointed at the door and said, "Let's talk inside." She didn't get Jasmine's parents to leave. She only ordered the 2 police officers with her to guard by the door. After closing the door, she pulled a crude round stool over and sat down without standing on ceremony, looking very relaxed. Let me raise the volume up again. This immediately made Jasmine and her parents less tense. "You may call me Ma'am Gray." The officer introduced herself and pointed at another chair at the bed. "Have a seat." When everyone in the room found their seats, she smiled at Jasmine and said, "I received a report saying that there were some incomprehensible things happening around you. For example, a male's desire for committing sexual assault had far less exceeded normal standards. This doesn't mean that there are no bad people or criminals among them, but the ratio is too high, so high that it's strange." At this point, she swept her gaze across Jasmine's face. "From what I know, you were seriously injured during the fire and was permanently disfigured, but now I can't tell any of that. What do you have to say about this?" Jasmine's heart tensed up again. She didn't dare hide anything and said in a panic, "I went out tonight to the municipal square to attend the carnival. While I was passing by a particular street, I encountered a wandering magician who called himself Merlin Hermes. He said that he had invented a machine called a fully automatic wishing machine. All I had to do was insert a penny, softly state my wish, and turn the wrench that my wish would be granted. He said that I was the first user, so I could experience it for free once. Then I was restored to my original state, having all my injuries healed. Officer, that's what happened. You must believe me." With that said, she glanced at Miss Gray and her assistant before looking at her parents, trying to get their approval. However, her parents clearly said, "How is that possible? How can there be a machine that can automatically grant the wishes of others? How can there be something as good as granting a wish costing only a penny? Besides, the first user experienced it for free." Gray and her assistant didn't show any obvious expressions, making Jasmine unsure if they believed her or not. Continue seeing her pause, Gray nodded encouragingly. Jasmine hurriedly mentioned how she returned home to get some coins before recounting in full how she wished for her parents to regain their health and how she wanted to become beautiful. Finally, she said, "I was indeed very, very beautiful. Even I couldn't move my eyes away. This made me experience a lot of kindness, but later on, the surrounding men started to frighten me. In addition, Dad and Mommy didn't recognize me and chased me out of the house. I was scared, very scared. I returned to the machine and made a third wish. Then Mr. Merlin Hermes said that the first wish was free and wasn't part of the 3 wishes. In short, I returned to my original appearance and met you." Upon hearing these words, Jasmine's parents instantly thought of the beautiful burglar from before. Then they realized that their bodies were indeed much healthier than before. Their vision had recovered and their arms had sufficient strength. Everything seemed different. They began to believe Jasmine's descriptions, but they felt even more terrified. It was as if they had encountered a demon, exactly the same as those stories in folklore. Gray nodded gently. "I've seen many matters that are beyond your imagination, but this is the first time I've heard of someone like a fully automatic wishing machine. Compared to a wishing lamp or a wishing pole in folklore, this is too modern." After a pause, her expression turned serious. "As an experienced law enforcer, I'll give you 3 suggestions. First, don't believe in such things again from now on. Under most circumstances, the easy granting of wishes brings about a huge disaster. There's nothing wrong with describing it as a temptation of demons." Jasmine nodded heavily, indicating that she wouldn't dare do it again. The final experience still left her feeling afraid. Secondly, go to the cathedral as soon as possible and report this to the ship, just like Klein did in Volume 2. Like, you should really go over here. Didn't he tell Old Kohler? Like, hey, you should really go pray at the church. No. Who else did he tell? It was one of the other strawmen that died. Oh, my God. No, not Jurgen didn't die. Oh my God, it's been so long. Because this is the same way Klein was speaking to one of his friends in Volume 2, like, you should really go out and play. Oh, the dude that, the professor of OG Will, right? Like, you should really go play when they dug up the grave together. Get him to purify you. Gray looked around and said, your entire family must go. Seeing that Jasmine and her parents were about to say that they already had this in mind, Gray turned to Jasmine. My department still lacks some staff. You can consider joining us. This way I can monitor your situation at any time and deal with any abnormal... No, Drigan didn't? Oh, thank you. Okay, so we're chill. He's good. With any abnormalities in time. As for the salary, trust me, it's about the same as a civil servant. The salary is about the same as a civil servant. I can be protected. There's something that nice. Jasmine asked in disbelief, what department is this? Grace smiled and said, I'll give you an ad. Just come to my office tomorrow. I'll fill you in on the details. All right, Jasmine was in a state of panic and unease. She would grab a life-saving straw at the moment it appeared. A straw. Will's dad, I understood that reference. A straw. A week later, Jasmine officially joined the Nighthawks in Lemon City. I'm sorry. Oh, she became... I was like, why would she become a Nighthawk? Okay. She became a civilian staff member. Captain, the telegraph device has broken down. She said carefully as knocked on Gray's doors. Gray put down the documents in her hand and rubbed her temples. Reported this to the police station and let them handle it. Seriously, I could have gotten the help of the machinery hive mind in the past. It was done in a quick and effective way. Now, sigh. By the time Jasmine left, Gray picked up the documents and began to read them carefully. This was a piece of information the Nighthawks had gathered regarding the fully automatic wishing machine. I'm sorry, are they turning the automatic wishing machine into a sealed artifact? After Jasmine, this happened more than once. After flipping through the documents, Gray spread out a piece of paper, picked up a fountain pen, and began writing the official documents for Constant Archbishop in the Holy Cathedral. There have been many supernatural incidents listed in the past week. It involves a special machine called the fully automatic wishing machine. According to the intel, I swear, if he doesn't fully digest his potion after this, I call cap. He has to digest it. According to the intel, it was created by a wandering magician who calls himself Merlin Hermes, but we haven't ruled out the other possibilities. At least I think that Merlin might be an illusion created by the machine so as to lure people into making wishes. It ain't that deep. The machine is of a brass color embedded with obvious glass. Its surface has gears, bearing rivets, metal pipes, and other components exposed on the surface. It seems to be a product of modern industrialization. Case number 1, a young girl who was disfigured by fire had met the fully automatic wishing machine at the municipal square. Her first wish was to revert back to original appearance, and it was granted normally. Her second wish was to restore her parents' health, which was also granted normally. Her third wish was to become extremely beautiful. Then she no longer looked herself. She has had an irresistible charm to men around her. So people are gonna be like, oh, wish 3 is like where it goes bad. She claimed that she was the first user of the full automatic wish machine, which allowed her to have one free wish. With that, she canceled her third wish. Case number 2, a retired soldier who participated in the war to defend Lemon was left with serious mental damage. He met the fully automatic wishing machine by the river. His first wish was to restore his mental state to a state before the war, and it was granted normally. His second wish was to become a little more handsome so as to reach the standards of the male models of magazine covers. He wanted to become a model. He also had it granted normally. His third wish was to obtain 100,000 pounds and become a tycoon. Then he caught the fancy of the owner of the Lemon United Steel Company, who wished to marry him, a lady with a wealth of Jesus. He got it good. A lady with a wealth of nearly 200,000 pounds. This retired soldier didn't wish to accept her, with her having a weight of more than 200 pounds and her shorter than average height. Furthermore, she's a violent middle-aged woman. He prepared to leave Lemon and head south. If there comes a day when he doesn't want to work hard anymore, he can easily obtain the rights to a wealth of 100,000 pounds. In a sense, his wish was granted, but he's unwilling to accept it. Case number 3, case number 4. Wow. This arc really shows human greed. It really does. Like, and it shows you how, like, it starts. It starts off very, like, okay. And then, like, it slowly ramps up until, like, human desire just is too much, right? He's like, oh, make me, like, recover from the war. Okay, make me look beautiful. Oh, give me a shitload of money. And same with her, right? Like, make me really beautiful, and then it backfires. Case number 5. Which one is this one? A public school teacher met the fully automatic wishing machine near a storm cathedral. Her first wish was to make herself look better and not be ostracized by her students because of her looks or be spurned by her colleagues. This was granted normally. Her second wish was to obtain a better position, which was also granted. As a teaching standards were high enough, she was no longer restricted by her looks. She quickly became the more popular teacher among the students and began taking on the duties as vice principal. Okay, what's her third wish? Her third wish was to have a husband with impeccable looks, family background, personality, and ability. Wow, look how it ramps up, bro. Finally, she got a doll who could speak, move, and have a certain level of intelligence. It had living characteristics and looked rather handsome. It was carved by the best master. I thought it said beast master. It was carved by the best master and could have any personality one wanted. It was very capable in every aspect other than not being human. It really had no flaws. Case number 6. Summarizing these cases, we have obtained some preliminary guesses. The fully automatic wishing machine can appear anywhere in Lemon. It's extremely random, and there's temporarily no discovered pattern for it. Most of the wishes that are made can be fulfilled normally. However, a small portion will be distorted, and the latter is basically concentrated on the third wish. Of course, it's also possible that the person will let themselves lose by the time they make the third wish and thus make excessive demands. The wishes it granted were mostly related to appearance, but it covered a wide scope. It was almost omnipotent. Omnipotent, you say? The frequency of its appearance is also regular. This is a classic example of a mysterious item that needs to be sealed. Is it great? It's not grade 3, no, because it does bring danger. Grade 2, I think it's grade 2. Grade 1, ain't no way. Grade 0, ain't no way. I feel like it's a grade 2. Because there hasn't been any deaths, right? But it's not like necessarily. I'd say grade 2. Furthermore, it clearly exceeds the grade of a grade. Oh! Furthermore, it clearly exceeds the grade of a grade 2. So, grade 1. I hope that the Archbishop and higher-ranking deacons will personally deal with it or give it an effective sealing method. On the steam locomotive out of limit, Klein observed his digesting the miracle invocation potion. I'm sorry, did we fully digest this potion or not yet? I feel like we need to hit a few more cities before we fully digest it. Chapter 1316 is called An Unknown City. I think maybe this is where we digest it. Chapter 1316. Dude, Predator Badlands, it was a good movie. You should really go and watch it, son. I highly recommend it, bro. It's been so long since I've watched any... Watch me pause stream. Hold up. Let me pause the recording. Chapter 1316 called An Unknown City. All right, last chapter for today. If I keep accumulating it bit by bit, it won't be long before I can respond to the Moon City's prayers and cure their deformities, thus creating quite a miracle. And ooh, miracle invoker indeed. In addition, I've also concluded the acting principles of a miracle invoker. It's only a matter of time before I digest it. I follow them. I might even finish within the year. Oh, hell yeah. That's me too, man. We're finishing OTM within the year. Klein retracted his gaze from the outside of the window, raised his left arm, and controlled the monster puppet on his left hand to entertain a child across him. This made him look more like a wandering magician. If he was willing, he could even use Life's Cane or the grafting ability to imbue this sock puppet with living characteristics. Oh, just like with his wishing machine. While entering the child with one of the cases, right? While entering the child, Klein's thoughts scattered as he considered where the marionette city needed to be built for the advancement ritual. A marionette... Oh, you're right. This is part of the advancement ritual. Oh, unknown city. This is a city. A marionette city needs sufficient interactions to develop a corresponding region in the spirit world. This means that it isn't enough to leave it in a forsaken land of the gods. Ignoring the fact that it's sealed there, there's no way of directly connecting it to the spirit world. All I can do is rely on the little specialness it has. Even if there's no problem with it, it's difficult to create any interactivity with a place that lacks intelligence. In which to destroy an entire city could be very hard and dangerous. That's why it's grade 0. Oh, I can see that. Yeah, like if a guy says, I wish to blow up Lemon. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're right. That actually does sound fucking scary. When you got, I didn't even think about that, like blow up the city. I didn't even think about that. Oh, shit. If it's placed in the northern and southern continents or the sea colonies, I have to be careful. Before the ritual is about to succeed, I definitely can't expose the fact that it's a marionette city. Otherwise, it will be affected, damaged, or even attacked by Zaratulamon and my other enemies. Yes, I have to give a sufficiently good reason for a marionette city to appear. Then there won't be any abnormalities within the interaction between the traveling merchants and the surrounding humans. I have to make every marionette a living person. They have their past, present, and future. They follow their own trajectories of fate. This means that a marionette city is extremely complicated. I need to split out many worms of spirit to deal with it. This also has a risk of losing control by doing so. Oh, because he's splitting up so much. If they are husband and wife, they should act like husband and wife. When faced with something they are fond of, they should show joy. Perverts should be hated. This way, foreigners might hear embarrassing sounds while staying in Marionette City. I'm still just an innocent child. This is a large-scale reality show, or rather a high-end version of playing house. Oh shit. I feel like I'm watching the Truman Show again. It has to be able to deceive the audience. As Klein lampooned inwardly, he suddenly counted if he had enough marionettes. Previously, he had gone to the Forsaken Lands of Gods several times and converted a large number of them. There were all kinds of monsters that might have not been beyond her characteristics. He also consciously controlled batches of rats, cockroaches, mosquitoes, and flies like Amon. Oh shit, and flies hoping to make a more uncommon side of the city real enough. I'm barely able to support a small city. Just a few more visits to Forsaken Lands of the Gods would do. Just as this thought flashed through Klein's mind, a scene suddenly appeared in front of him. At the top of the giant king's court, which was bathed in the light of dusk, the open door slowly and heavily closed. This was like a pair of invisible hands closing the entrance to the Forsaken Lands of the Gods. Klein's eyes darkened as he vaguely guessed that this scene meant that the true creator was about to seal off... What? Klein's eyes darkened as he vaguely guessed that this scene meant that the true creator was about to seal off the Forsaken Lands of the Gods again. This was the prophetic powers that came from an angel-level spiritual intuition and premonition for danger. It was about to happen a few minutes or a few seconds later. Oh, shit's gonna happen right now. Did the true creator capture Amon, or has he already given up? He once again sealed off the Forsaken Lands of the Gods. Does he not want others to enter again? Isn't this too petty? Klein mumbled inwardly, feeling a little disappointed. What? But the Light Seekers, we got out. What? Why would he even need to seal it again? Hold up. Wait, why? I don't get it. Hold up. I assume it will be revealed. Of course, he barely had enough marionettes. Even if he lacked them, he could make up for it at sea. Backland Empress Borough, Audrey had just changed her clothes and sent away her maid servants. Just as she was about to leave, she saw Susie walk in. What's the matter? You should be on your stroll at this time. As an experienced spectator, Audrey immediately sensed that something was amiss. During this period of time, she had been busy making use of the influence she had on the few foundations to help workers, farmers, and injured veterans with their hardships. She had allowed them to wait for a new job opportunity or for their plantations producing in a new season. She had a lot less interactions with Susie than normal. Oh, that's sad. With Susie than usual. Oh, I'm dropping all my stuff. At the same time, Audrey was secretly guiding the workers of lower socioeconomic status from the various unions in Backland together to strength together. Her previous experience made her understand that the counting on the kindness of the upper class wasn't reliable or long. Whoa, were there spoilers? Oh shit, I don't know what happened, but it's okay. I didn't read anything. At the same time, Audrey was secretly guiding the workers of lower socioeconomic statuses from the various unions in Backland together to their strength together. Her previous experience made her understand that counting on the kindness of the upper class wasn't reliable or long-lasting. A single person appeared puny and powerless in the face of the government, nobles and powerful merchants. Only by summoning the combined strength of a large number of civilians could a balance be formed. The Lowen Kingdom had unions and different industries a long time ago, but the upper echelons of these associations were easily bribed. Instead, they became effective weapons against the ordinary workers. Susie glanced at Audrey with a rather normal expression, but her mouth seemed to be out of control. It vibrated the air and let out a deep male voice. Male voice? Miss Audrey, I'm the president of the Psychology Alchemist, Eric Drake. I wish to meet you and discuss about becoming counselor of psychology. I'm sorry, you can speak through Susie? I wish to meet you and discuss with you about becoming a counselor of the Psychology Alchemist. I'm at the nearby park. Having said that, Susie heaved a long sigh of relief and regained her original voice. Audrey, there's a strange guy looking for you. I can't remember what he looks like. He directly placed the words and he wanted to say into my mind island. What a crazy conversation. Audrey's pupils dilated slightly before immediately returning to normal. She calmly nodded and said, "Where is he at the park?" As he spoke, Audrey secretly conjured a virtual persona and entered Susie's mind island through the sea collective subconscious. She checked if it was still distorted by some external consciousness or knowledge. I don't remember. I was having my stroll, Susie said as she recalled. Then she wagged her tail slightly and said, I don't think you should go. It's dangerous. After confirming that Susie didn't have any latent problems with her virtual persona, Audrey exhaled and said, it will be even more suspicious if I don't go. That way, danger will be unavoidable. It might even affect the rest of the people in the house. Besides, this is also an opportunity, just as Mr. Hangman said, since the end of the world is coming. All the hard work and attempts that will not bring disaster are meaningful, Audrey added inwardly before saying, I will protect myself. Fuck yeah, she can protect herself. Susie, did anything happen to you just now? Susie barked and said no. Audrey, are you really going? Yes, Audrey gave a clear answer. Then can you bring me along? Just like before, I'm just a dog in their eyes. Susie mustered up her courage and said, no, there's no need. I'll be back very soon. Believe me, I'll be blessed by deity. Audrey replied with a faint smile. After comforting Susie, she used her psychological invisibility and left the luxurious village like she usually did. Bro, I started adding the lore to the lore management channel. No, it's okay, D. No, it's okay. Don't push yourself, man. It's been so long, man, since I've been able to update it. No, don't push yourself. Don't push yourself. No, you don't have to really. All right, let's loop this and let's finish this beautiful chapter. I'll be honest, yeah, it's gonna be the last chapter. I'm excited to see, because I don't think Susie's gonna be using her dragon form anytime soon in book 1. I'm excited to see if, like, in a future chapter in COI, Circle of Inevitability, we get like a Susie fight, right? Like, and she's in her dragon form. Or it'd be fucking crazy if we get like a tag team up, or like a team up, right? It's like some WWE shit, man. Fucking double team, fucking tag team, fucking Susie and Audrey both in dragon forms. Oh, that'd be so badass. When she was far away in the corner of the first floor, a servant who was clearing suddenly bowed his head and softly said words that had never been learned before, the fool that doesn't belong to this era. In the ancient palace above the fog, the figure sitting in the full seat naturally looked at the newly formed prayer light and realized that the believer was extremely unfamiliar. It's identical to Miss Justice's home environment. I can suspect that it's a result of guidance created by the virtual persona's invasion of the Mind Island. Miss Justice used this method to avoid any surveillance and pray for blessings. The figure quickly came to conclusion and transformed the corresponding situation to his true body. After a few seconds later, Klein entered the fairy castle and allowed the worms of spirit to burrow into his body. Miss Justice is becoming more and more like a high-sequence spectator. Klein prays inwardly as he casts his gaze to the crimson star representing justice. In the park with a lake, as soon as Audrey entered, she saw a large carriage drive over. The carriage driver was an ordinary middle-aged man wearing an old hat and a dark-colored jacket. However, in Audrey's eyes, this carriage driver didn't exist because he didn't have a corresponding island of consciousness or mind. What the fuck is he? In other words, the carriage driver was just an illusion, a fake, and the controller of this carriage was the horse itself. A few seconds later, the large carriage stopped in front of Audrey. The door creaked open. "Please come in." A deep male voice came from inside. Audrey lifted the end of her skirt slightly and boarded the carriage. She saw a man sitting on a black wheelchair. His pale yellow eyebrows were long and his eyes were neatly combed back. There were some wrinkles on his forehead and his face was abnormally pale. Mr. Derleau, or Mr. Derlawet? Do you remember the sequence 3 of Visionary Pathway? I don't remember the name. No. Wait, let me think about it. It's been a cool minute. I think I forgot it. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say I think. I forgot it. I don't remember it. Mr. Derlou, aren't you already dead? Audrey recognized the man in front of her and expressed her surprise perfectly. To a spectator, death only represents the end of one's identity. And other theoretical plays, I'm Still Alive, the elderly gentleman who was sitting in black wheelchair replied with a smile. Apart from the former royal family's medical consultant, the former chancellor of Backland Medical School, I'm also the king of the Black Throne, Burroughs Hopkins at the sea. I'm the famous hermit, Eric Drake, etc. Then how should I address you? Audrey asked politely. Who the fuck is he? He has so many names. Audrey asked politely as she watched the door close automatically from the corner of her eyes. The old gentleman stroked the wheelchair on both sides of the wheel. Stroke the wheels on both sides of the wheelchair. You can call me Mr. President, or you can continue calling. Oh shit, it's the president of Psychology Alchemist. You can call me Mr. President, or you can continue calling me Mr. Derlou. He then pointed to the seat and left the left side of the carriage. Have a seat. Let's head somewhere first before discussing you becoming a counselor of the Psychology Alchemist. Audrey nodded slightly and calmly sat down. Without hiding anything, she cast her gaze out of the window and was surprised to find that in the blink of an eye, the park had turned into an unfamiliar city, one that was shrouded in darkness. The city was filled with extremely mysterious and beautiful buildings that gave off a dark feeling. There was a gentleman wearing a top hat and trench coat, as well as a woman in complicated dark dresses. The president of the local psychiatrics. Oh, I don't like that name. Is that the Yen Press name? No, never mind. It was called something else. As Audrey stepped her way, she saw the gentleman with short black hair beside the carriage, revealing a sharp canine fang in his mouth. This was a werewolf. Whoa, what kind of cliffhanger is that? Who the fuck was that? Werewolf. This chapter's called Pride. That reminds me of Pride from FMA. We were feeling under the weather, but we knocked out 4 quick chapters. Look at that! 4 chapters and 43 damn minutes. Fairies are canon and Ultim. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it there. It's pretty late. Yeah, I don't stream at this time because I should be going to bed right now. But I stayed up a little bit late today. I just got back from watching Predator Badlands. Damn good movie. We did a review, so you guys should see that like within 5 minutes of ending the stream. I just need to change my face. It means the world to me if you guys watch that. If you guys have any recommendations on how to do a movie review, let me know. The Sleepless for Enough by Easy. No, yeah, I need some sleep, but I also wanted to knock out this arc because what's it called? I know the big chapters are coming up. I know it's coming up. I know people said like 17 to 26 should be read together, and then it's like from there onwards, Love was like, you need plenty of rest and you best announce all these damn streams. He didn't say it in that words, but I'm just emphasizing what he wanted to say, but he didn't say it. Speed running today. Yeah, we sped run just 4 quick chapters. So we're gonna go to bed. Basically, Love is like, Easy, get your fucking act together. Start fucking announcing streams properly, because the next streams are gonna be banger. So I wanted to quickly knock out these 4 chapters because I don't know if I'll be able to do 15 chapters next stream. So I was like, let me knock out 4, 5. Let me knock out 4 chapters right now, so I can at least do 10, 11 for the next arc, and then I think we'll be good for the finale. So I'm gonna head out, get some sleep. I know I do not stream at this time, bro. I should be asleep in like 2 minutes. Mama, stay up, patch my midnight for a few more minutes. Basically, what we've all been thinking about the next streams. Basically, we are all thinking. Yeah, I know. I can tell. I already know, man. There has to be some crazy shit. Like, Amon literally just came in at the end of fucking volume. I was about to say season 2. At the end of volume 6, stole the first fucking blasphemy slate and just left. During the whole confrontation with Dark Angel Caesarea. He just out. He just left. Just like that. Like, there are still so many fucking unanswered questions. We still have had, I kid you not, 0 hints as to what the fuck that bell was. Episode 1, when he's transmigrating, Amon was being a scummy fucking thief, stealing is what he do. Yeah, man. He was being a little bitch. I'll tell you that. I'm sorry. No, sorry for the profanity. I like Amon. I think he's a cool, cunning fucking character. I'm just saying, it was a little scummy, though. Like, he came in and he stole that fucking slate during that fucking tragic-ass finale, man. That shit fucked me up. And then for him to take advantage, come in, and steal shit for his own fucking agenda? Nah, bro. I want him to suffer. But hold up, I don't know if I want him to suffer, because I don't know who is, like, I don't know who's the bad guy here. Like, he's just a silly little guy. Yeah, he's just a silly little guy. Like, I don't know who's the bad guy here. Is it Adam with daddy issues? People were like, yo, that's a crazy ass take. I'll take that part back. Like I don't know who's the bad guy here. Like, is it Amon? Is it Adam? Are we siding? Are we going to side with one? Like, is one the lesser evil? Is one, like, working for one of the outer deities? There are so many fucking questions. And there is still so much shit we don't know. When I think back to episode 1 of the Dunkwell. Episode 1 of the Dunkwell showed, like, a red gem when, like, Klein transmigrates. You see, like, the red veil, like, and you hear the dong, you hear the bell. And I remember we heard a bell earlier. And, like, there's so much shit that happened. Romero gonna cry hearing that take. What take? He's just a little guy. He hasn't done nothing wrong. The bad guys is the friends we made along the way. You know what? Yeah, in this series, there are really no bad guys. There are, actually, no, I fucking lied on my ass. There are clearly fucking bad guys. But there are a lot of people just trying to survive in this series. And if there's one thing you and I have learned, I am not one of those people that would survive. I think I'm too gullible and naive in this series. Veil theory mentioned again. Yeah, it's like there's, and the whole time when Klein got the red scarf, I'm like, oh shit, is that the red veil from episode 1? And I'm like, no, that's not it. But not easy. The entire demoness group is bad. Bad? I mean, they're pretty bad. I mean, yeah. If you want to put it that way. I mean, what way am I talking? I guess I'll leave that up to you guys. Speedrunning, plagues, killing people, etc. You know what? Yes. Actually, no way. I lied. Thank you for reminding me. Sorry, my mind was clouded. Yes, they are actually bad people. They are actually, yes. All right, I'm gonna let you guys go. You guys have an amazing, beautiful day. Your boy needs some sleep, and keep a lookout for the Predator Badlands review. It's a little all over the place because I don't even know how to structure reviews. But I feel like me doing these movie reviews and me yapping is going to help me do future volume reviews. Because I've only done volume 1 review, and that was scuffed because we did it live and then we just trimmed it up. I still want to do a volume review for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just like we've been doing our volume discussions, and we're going to have our volume discussion with Wiz over the weekend. So that's going to happen. I mean, if we finish volume 7 by then, we might have to, you know, do like a back-to-back 6 and then 7, you know. Did you know you were... Oh, was that part of the... They're bad, so I am. I'm down fat for the Demoness. I think there's a lot of people bad for the Demoness. If there's one thing we've learned, especially from all the reactions I've seen. All right, you guys have an amazing day. Peace. Have a beautiful night. Later all.